Training for your next big race and not sure about your nutrition? Well, Precision Fuel and Hydration are sponsoring the show this month, and their free online planner has you covered. It calculates exactly how much carbs, sodium and fluid you need to smash your goals. Me and the team at Inside Running Podcast swear by the 90 gram resealable gel to have on our long runs. It's been a game changer for us. If you want to crush your race day strategy, hit the link in the show notes, try the planner and grab 15% off your first order with the code IR-SPRING2025. That's IR-SPRING2025. Hit the link, grab your discount and crush those goals. Now on to the episode.
Your skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways.
Welcome to episode number 407 of the Inside Running Podcast. A massive thanks for being with us for another week. We got a big show for you this week. We got Diamond League results, Chicago Marathon announced our elite fields. We're going to preview a bit of stuff leading into Sydney Marathon, a few whispers, listen to question. It's all looking pretty jam-packed thanks to Bradley Croker, who puts this agenda together every single week. Welcome to you, Croaks, the king of Canberra, the final boss of Mulligans, I'm calling you. How are you going this week?
Good, Brady. Too old to know what final boss means, so it was nice of you to actually send me through the definition about an hour ago.
I felt for you. I was listening to Road to Sydney this morning, Croaks, and you were copping a bit of shit on that show about your behaviour out at Mulligans. And I thought, we just got to let everyone know this guy is the final boss of Mulligans. And if you want to take his crown out there, you got to go through him.
I haven't listened to that, but is that who was giving me stick? The person that's been running with the flu?
Yeah, the Canberra resident on that show.
Yeah, and it was actually a lot slower than a normal long run, so I don't know what's going on out there.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm glad I educated you on what the term final boss meant this morning. I didn't have that on my bingo code for bingo card for Tuesday morning.
I wonder if our guest has heard that term before.
Well, we're going to come up with a final boss term for her, but I want to tell you who she is first, Croak. She's the 2022 Commonwealth Games gold medalist in the marathon. She was top 10 at the 2017 World Championships. In 2016, she was the People's Choice Award winner at the Advertiser and Channel 7 Sports Star of the Year Awards in South Australia over there. 2:22:56, her marathon PB is from Tokyo Marathon this year. She was 12th at the Olympic Games. She's won Melbourne Marathon back in 2:15, Croaks, and she's probably going to try and win Sydney Marathon next weekend. Jess Stenson, welcome back to the Inside Running Podcast.
Thanks, Brady. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here. You're giving me a tough gig, though, following Christian. And then, it was early the week before that. Some big shoes to fill.
Well, we should see who we got next week too, Jess. Croaks and I put together a good list of fill-in hosts, and you're one of those people that we wanted to talk to. So, hey, but talking about final bosses, Croaks, do we call Jess the final boss of South Australian running? Has to be, doesn't she?
I don't know what final boss means yet.
Okay, so it's it's a video game term. So you got to beat Bowser, who's the final boss of Mario, for example. So if you want that title,
Billy probably knows what the term is.
Yeah, ask Billy. So I think it's been made relevant in the last couple of weeks because there's that final boss of Beatsa. Have you seen that?
Oh.
Have you seen that guy? Anyway, that's how it come into my algorithm. Maybe we're showing our different age levels here. But yeah, it's pretty much who you got to take down to be the boss. And I'm going to say there's no blokes over there in South Australia. Izzy's probably second. I reckon you're the final boss, Jess, over there in South Australia. You can't comment on it, but Croaks, you can. Is Jess the final boss of South Australia?
It's a tough one. Who holds the most state records?
Yeah, South Australia is the only state that worries about that, so we'd have to get someone from South Australia.
Or national records.
Yeah, you need placings, though, Croaks. Placings in big races.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Medals.
International record, you've got Izzy covered, Jess.
Jess is not going to engage in this at all.
This is very awkward for Jess.
I put in a chat GPT before, I'm like, who are the final bosses of Australian distance running? And it was like Jess Hull is the 1500, and then it had like people in different categories. It was really good. So it pretty much just said the record holders of each event. But yeah, there we go. That's how we start the show this week. Jess, how are you?
Yeah, going well, thank you. I was sort of whinging about the cold this morning, and then I just heard Croaks talk about the weather over there. So we've got nothing to complain about here. The sun's out.
Taper time for you too? Like, what are you, 10 days away from Sydney Marathon?
Yeah.
Something like that? 11?
Yeah, it's funny when you're preparing for a marathon on home soil because it doesn't really feel like a big race is coming up until you actually fly there. So, yeah, we'll have to start thinking about packing soon. The whole family's going over. So that sort of adds to the logistics and what you've got to take over. But we're really looking forward to it. We're going to spend a week over there.
Yeah.
Jess, I'm interested to hear how you bounced back after Gold Coast, because when we spoke to you on the Gold Coast, you mentioned that you'd had some hamstring issues, and obviously Gold Coast race didn't go to plan.
Yep.
Since then, how has the hamstring been?
Yeah, so it had been bothering me a fair bit. I think I mentioned on that show just fartlek sessions, which I love, where you're changing the pace. I just couldn't stride out. So coming back from the Gold Coast, Adam, I was just feeling a little bit, I don't even know what the word is. Like, it does strip your confidence a little bit when you have a race experience like that. And I had a really good chat with Adam, and he just said, look, I want you to have a couple of weeks of just doing some longer tempos. He's like, I feel like you've been trying to chase the pace a little bit. He said, you've got the fitness. I just want you to let the fitness come to you rather than you trying to show yourself that it's there. And it really took the pressure off. I had, a few Tuesdays and Fridays, so session days, where all I was really doing is going out and running for 40 minutes at that steady to tempo effort, not even changing into race flats sometimes, and sort of I had higher volume but lower intensity. And over that couple of weeks, I felt like, one, it helped my body just to feel a bit fresher, and it was playing more to my strengths, which is just that sort of longer aerobic work. And then we got back into fartlek sessions after that, and I was feeling good. And the hamstring, I've had to work really hard at it. It's the most diligent I've ever been with treatment and exercises and all of those 1%ers. But it's come to a place that I'm really happy with. It's certainly, the pain hasn't completely gone away, but it's a lot more manageable. And one of the most annoying things for me was sitting. I just couldn't sit without this real sciatic-y kind of deep glute ache. So I'd be driving and I'd suddenly be trying to like stick my ankle up near and I'm not getting that at the moment, which is such a relief, knowing that I've got to jump on a plane soon. And so.
And did the hamstring mean that you maybe did a bit more cross training and not quite as much running, or you've basically been able to do as much running as you would have hoped?
I haven't changed my cross training approach. It's basically just at the moment 1 elliptical per week. So I've just added in more gym would be the main thing that I've done.
Been sleeping in the altitude tent as well, Jess?
Yeah, so that's something. I haven't had an altitude block since St. Moritz last year, and I find when I have a course with sort of a hilly course profile, the altitude I find really helps me to feel stronger on those sorts of courses. So I knew it was going to be really tough to fit in some altitude before Sydney. Obviously, I wasn't going to be able to get overseas to real altitude, and I thought the tent, it could be a disaster, but we'll give it a go. And so far it's actually worked out all right with the setup with the kids, and occasionally we'll get Ellie jump out of bed and run up to the tent and like hold her face up to it. And we've had a couple of bedtime books in the tent, but it's all worked out all right. Just trying to clock up the hours is tough, because I used to be able to get almost like a 12-hour block in overnight pre-having kids, and that's not happening now. But sometimes I can get a little bit of a top-up here and there, and rather than 3 weeks, I'm doing 4 weeks of it just to try and get the cumulative hours.
How long have you had an altitude tent for? I didn't know you had one.
No, so Sassy have them.
Ah.
And we can rent them from Sassy, which is really helpful.
Oh, cool.
And it just goes over the, give us the like description of it. Like it goes over your bed and there's like a humming noise of a motor or something like playing.
So that was the big issue, was trying to work out where to put it, because we've sort of got the kids' bedroom, our bedroom, and then an office. And for a while there, we thought we might almost put it in the lounge room with a mattress. And then Dylan came up with an idea to put it in the office, which has worked well. On the days when he's working from home, though, there's this big tent and he's squashed in the corner with his like laptop, and it's a loud humming noise. So yeah, I've had to really get used to that at night, because where it's positioned, we couldn't put the actual unit outside of the room. So I'm in there with this unit buzzing away, and first couple of nights I thought, there's no way I'm going to persist with this, but it's worked out. And then it generates heat too, so it's quite warm in there, which is nice in the winter.
And is there like a button that you like choose a setting of how like you want the altitude set?
Yeah, so you want about like 14.5% oxygen. So I've got a little oxygen reader in the tent, and my saturation sits at around 91. So I have a little reader like thing that sits on my finger all night until I get sick of it and turn it off and throw it away. But I start with it on my finger, and all of that data goes to the exercise physiologist at Sassy, and it shows just heart rate and oxygen saturation throughout the night.
Science, Croaks. It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
It's pretty serious too, isn't it? Like this is, do these things to try to experience success on race day.
Is there like an alarm system in those things?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I have to set it to the alarm will go off if I drop below 75. So I'm getting nowhere near that.
Yeah.
But I guess if the unit were to become faulty and it accidentally shoots up to the top of Everest type altitude, my saturation would drop and the alarm would go off.
Let's hear about some training, Jess. Before we hear a training week, can we hear like what some of the major workouts were leading into like the last week of training?
Yeah, so the last week of training, if we kind of go Tuesday to Tuesday, I had 3x6K last Tuesday, which I wasn't actually feeling great for that session. When I went out, I kind of assumed it was going to be like the typical 3x5K that I used to do kind of at the end of a marathon block, when I think pre-super shoes, that was always my big marathon session that I geared up for. And I remember at the time, this is back in around 2014, I remember thinking like, this is such a big session. And it's funny now, fast forward 10 years, 3x5K is probably one of the smaller marathon sessions that some people are doing. But anyway, I went out there and Adam said, we want to try and hit sort of 320s. And I just said to him, nah, that's going to be overreaching today. I'm feeling pretty tired. So he ended up saying between 320 and 325s. And I had Max Stevens with me, which was great. And we ended up averaging like 324s for the first one, then 322s, and then 321s. And I wasn't feeling great in that session, but I knew because of previous sessions where those paces have felt more comfortable, it wasn't necessarily a sign of fitness, more just being on tired legs.
Is that a K float between, or what was the recovery? It
was meant to be, but because we wanted to use the markers, we ended up just going back to the start of this botanic loop. So it ended up being, I think, a 3.5 minute jog. Yeah. And then in the afternoon, did 30 minutes on the tread. An hour 40 on Wednesday morning. I had my brother there for an hour of that, which was good because it was 6 a.m. start and it's been really dark and I don't like running around in the dark much on my own. A couple of the people I'd usually do that Wednesday morning run with it in Europe at the moment, so it was nice that Jack jumped in with me. And then Thursday I did an hour in the morning on my own, 14 Ks, did a bit of a Pilates session in the middle of the day, and then 35-minute elliptical in the evening. I've been doing a couple of sauna sessions as well, so I did one on that day. Friday, similar to the session Isaac described the other day, he did a 10-minute tempo and then a 20-minute fartlek, but Adam's been giving it to me the other way around. I start with the fartlek and then do the tempo. So it was a Mona 6.15. So that was actually the furthest I've got for a Mona, which was exciting. Again, I had Max Stevens there and he was up and about kind of pushing the pace. So I just tried to hang on to him. And then a 10-minute tempo, I think that was between 3:30 and 3:35. 30-minute jog to school pickup in the afternoon, and then Billy had sport, so sort of went and watched that with him. It's such a bad way to do it though, because you know how you get a bit sweaty and then you're standing around in the cold at school sport. I regretted that pretty quickly. I ended up actually getting a bit of a sore throat, blocked sinuses that night, which meant that on Saturday I would have taken it off because obviously just want to try and fire the immune system up and take it easy. But Billy and I have this little routine, which was inspired by you and Lily, Brad, where he rides the bike and I run on a Saturday morning, and I really love that time with him and he really enjoys it. So we just still went out for a little half an hour, like 5-minute Ks. Billy picked the loop and there are a couple of uphills and I have to push him up the uphills. So it was a little bit harder than I wanted it to be, but it was good. And
Do you
then
have to is it on closed road circuit and stuff, or you got to cross roads and stuff while you're going?
we just go along Linear Park. So we've got a couple of neighbourhood roads to cross and then we're on the river path. So it's just, his left and rights, he still gets a little bit mixed up. So when some bike comes flying behind and they're ringing the bell, I'm like, Billy, get left. And I see him hesitate. I'm like, this side, like trying to. Yeah. So yeah, the bikes are the main ones you got to watch out for.
Yeah, and the hills are tough. That's why, like, I know when I first started doing it with Lily, it was always like a really flat loop because you know they can get around at the pace sort of you want to run at.
That's it, yeah. I always like that Botanic Loop that we train on. That's a good one for him where it's nice and flat. And then Sunday, initially this was going to be a 2-hour run with 3x4K efforts, which is one of those sort of marathon sessions we usually have. But given that my legs were pretty tired on Tuesday, Adam said, we won't worry about the efforts on Sunday. And when I had that bit of a cold, I thought, yeah, let's get rid of the efforts there. So it was just a relaxed 2 hours 18 it ended up being. It was just over 33 Ks with Caitlin, Casey, Max Stevens, Isaac, and then another Max who's building up for Sydney. And yeah, I started on the Tuesday there. But anyway, Monday I just do an hour in the morning with some strides, and then we're talking yesterday, I just did 10 minutes on the tread and 30 minutes on the elliptical in the afternoon. And that made for like a week of 158, and I feel like I've shaken the cold. So it was good.
And how's the confidence levels going into Sydney compared to some of your other major marathons?
Yeah, so I feel like I've treated this one more like a major championship in that I'm not really thinking too much about paces. It's just trying to make sure I'm ready for everything that could be thrown at us there. So it could be a warm day, which is why I've done some sauna sessions, but it could be really wet as well. We know there are hills and technical aspects, so I've just tried to prepare myself for that. And I feel like I've ticked all of those boxes. The sessions I've done, so you said before, what are some of the key sessions you've done? Probably two that stand out were the Sunday a couple of weeks ago. I don't know the date. We did one of my favourite sessions. It's, what is it, it might be 2 hours 15 in total, I think. And we have a 3x2K with a 1K jog and then a 5K to finish. And if I sort of compare that to pre-Tokyo, I was a bit stronger this time around, so that's good. However, leading into Tokyo, it would have been a hot Sunday, whereas the conditions were nice on this occasion. And then another marathon session I love that we did the Friday prior to the Tuesday I just mentioned, where we did 3x6K. It was I've talked about this before, I think an interview with you, Brady. We do 2K on, 1K on with 1K floats. So I kind of break it down. Basically a 2K on, 1K float, 1K on, 1K float is 5Ks in total. So I kind of think of it as 4 5K blocks. And then if you're feeling it at the end, you can add on another 1.1 to get the half marathon. That session I did with Max too, and just really found my rhythm and enjoyed that one. And probably, again, that was just a little bit stronger than previous times I've done that session. So there's nothing too flashy in there. I feel like it's been just more consistency and, my mileage has been similar to Paris, which was sort of peaking at, my biggest week might have been just over 170, but I sort of sit around that 165, and that tends to be my sweet spot. I've had some marathon preps in the past. This was pre-kids, where I used to try and push past sort of 180, and that didn't really work for me. So I find this is a level where I can still get good intensity in my sessions, and I'm not sort of dragging my feet out the door for my runs. I'm still enjoying it and feeling upbeat and kind of just a happy person. I find if I push myself too hard, I start resenting it a bit.
Yeah. You go, Craigs. We both went over our mouth at exactly the same time there.
I know Sydney's not a course where time is really sort of something that you chase, but have you heard from the organisers in terms of pace groups that they're aiming for the day?
No, I haven't heard anything actually. And I didn't know if there would be paces, because when I did New York a couple of years ago, we didn't have a pacer, but I have heard that potentially there will be for the top women. So I don't know anything about what pace they'll be aiming for. That was not from the race organisers. I heard that was just someone chatting out at training. They mentioned it. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I've heard it's a lead pack, which brings me to the question, how much attention will you pay to, I want to try and finish on the podium, I want to potentially win this race, I want to be in the lead pack, to where are Lisa and where are Leanne? Because it's a fascinating situation where we've got these 214, 215 ladies, but also your main priority, I guess, is to be first Australian across the line?
Yeah, as I sort of said, I'm treating it like a major championship, or similar to the Paris Olympics last year. I just don't really want to come out of this race wondering what could have been. I feel like I'm at a point where I'm just eager to stick my nose in it and see what happens. So with such an exciting elite field and international women here, I kind of, if I'm going to listen to my body and I'm not going to do anything reckless, but if there's a chance to be sort of competitive with that field, well, I'll give myself a shot at it. But you don't know what approach they're going to take. I'm well aware some of them can run, 2:14. And if they're going out at that pace, well, that's not a smart thing for me to try. But if they're, playing it more tactically and they get rolling at a more conservative pace, well, I'd like to try and be competitive with the whole field, rather than just thinking about what's happening on the domestic front, because this is such a good opportunity, and it is just one of those, it could be wet and slippery, it could be windy, it could be any of those things, and if you play your cards right and run to the conditions, you can sometimes sort of outperform your rankings. So
yeah, that's good to hear, Croaks. And we saw a bit of that from you at Tokyo, not looking at splits. When you did see the splits at the end there, it was quite aggressive early on because you wanted to kind of race the women around you. Yeah,
I think I'm just at that stage of my career now where you don't want to be too conservative in these races, because you don't know how many more opportunities you're going to have where you've had a strong prep and you can be at your best. So yeah, you don't want to cross the line thinking, I should have really just given it a bit more.
That being said, it's, most of your major marathons that you run, there's no specific reward for being first Aussie, whereas obviously financially, there's a big reward there for the Aussie places. So, and that's where I find the men's race is going to be fascinating as well, because you could look at somebody like Brett, who on paper is, and I suppose Liam's not far behind him, but I'd imagine Brett probably goes into that race going, my main priority here is probably to be first Aussie. So I'm just going to make sure that I, do enough to win that first. Because it's unlikely he's going to be competitive with you. Yeah, Kipchoge's and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I hear Kipchoge's in form. That's exciting.
But it is encouraging to hear that, you're just going to treat it like any other major and not worry so much about the Aussie prize money, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, I could see how potentially there would be sub-elite men and it could turn into this little kind of Australian race versus the rest of the race. But then it would be pretty disappointing to look at your overall result and know that you could have placed higher if you hadn't been so preoccupied or focused on the domestic race within it. So
that's why you're elite, Jess, and Brady and I are sub-elite, because we'll be thinking, I just want to win the 30 grand.
Mate, I just wanted the pacing job. That's all I wanted.
Brady wanted his $2,000 for pacing.
More than that, they paid well up there. But anyway, hey, Jess, and this is the course. The course is going to bring everyone back together a bit, because it's not pancake flat. It's not going to be a time trial, but you do have downhill start. And I know your coach, Adam, is meticulous with his planning of race day, strategy. And we saw you at the Commonwealth Games, and I think I've heard you talk about you'd studied the back end of that course. And when you made that move, it was that was a plan that you were going to go at this certain spot. Isaac on the show a couple of weeks ago, Adam had studied Jack's racing form and knew when Jack was going to kick. So you can't, please don't give this away now, but
have
you and Adam had that chat yet about this is
No, we haven't had the chat.
Yet.
So usually we don't have it until a day or two before the race. I hadn't looked a lot at the course, other than when I was in Sydney a few months ago. I ran the Centennial Park and then the Miss Macquarie chair section. And what I gathered from that, and this was Tom Middleton showing me around, and he's a Sydney local and knew all the nuances of it. And what I took from that is you can never really just switch off, other than potentially the Anzac Parade section, but there's always something happening. And if it's wet, I think it could be a bit slippery on some of those turns. But yeah, it was just up and down the whole time, which I love. I think these courses are so exciting, and you don't have too long to be stuck in your own head. You're constantly concentrating and thinking about where next. But I'd say Adam would be starting to have a look at a few things, and then on this Friday or Saturday we'll have a proper sit down sort of chat and go over the tactics, and he'll start by saying, what do I think? And then he sort of shares his thoughts, and then at the end of it we come up with a bit of a plan. But there's always a bit of give in that, because you don't know what's going to happen on the day.
And is it as simple in the past where he will say, hey, K35 has 15 metres of elevation, we go then? You pull a trigger then and test the field?
Yeah, that's the sort of, he'll be looking at the elevation profile and sort of turns and those sorts of things, and say, at this point, think about how you're feeling, and if you want to give a bit there, and then at this point you need to be blah, blah, blah. And obviously on the day, it really depends on whether you're in a position to do those things. But yeah, usually in this style of race, it'll be a fairly detailed plan. But the reason we leave it to the very last minute is so that you know what the conditions will be like. You know whether I've had any hiccups, whether I've, fallen over and rolled my ankle or picked it. So often little things happen in the lead up that, you can't predict. So we leave it to the very last minute to go over that plan.
Hey team, it's Brady here, and I'm stoked to tell you about a partnership for a product I just used last month in Paris. It is Saily, and Saily is a game changer for staying connected when you travel. It's an eSIM service app that lets you choose from a huge range of affordable data plans in over 190 countries and 8 regions. Think about it. You land in a new city and boom, you've got data straight away. No more scrambling. If you're heading overseas for your next marathon or even a holiday, we know that running is a fantastic way to experience the world. But here's a question. How often has travel planning been a hassle for you? Especially staying connected once you land. I know I've been there, desperately searching for Wi-Fi, getting stung by crazy roaming charges, or wasting time hunting down a local SIM card. Enter the world of eSIM and Saily has you covered. It's really simple. You pretty much just download the app once and you're set. There's no more swapping SIMs for every country. Plus, the plans are super affordable, which is crucial when you're saving up for those race entry fees and flights. And for those of you planning a multi-country trip like that Euro Marathon tour, Saily offers global and regional plans too. Imagine this, you're in a new city, you're using Saily to load your Strava heat map, you need to find the best post-run coffee spot, and more importantly, you need to stay connected to upload your latest runs. Saily also helps you to avoid scams and even better, has security features to protect your privacy while you're browsing. It's compatible with both iOS and Android, and their support team is there for you 24/7 if you need them. So here's the deal. Saily have teamed up with the Inside Running podcast to offer you an exclusive 15% off discount on Saily data plans. Use the code INSIDERUNNING, all capitals, at checkout to get started. Download the Saily app or visit saily.com and check out the link in our bio. So when you're traveling next, ditch the roaming headache and give Saily a try. You won't regret it. Yeah, it's going to be so exciting, Croaks.
Can't wait.
Well, I think you're going to be on the sidelines, ain't it? Because your Strava's been a bit inactive the last couple of days. So me and you jogging along a few minutes behind. I don't think it's going to happen.
I won't be running it. I'll be down in Kensington watching.
What's happened in a week? I thought you were flying.
No, you did those strides, Jess. Remember last week? A little niggle on the strides, calf. Is that what it was?
No, my strides were fine. The strides were last Thursday. It was last Tuesday.
I thought the calf pull up after some strides.
No, I was doing Tuesday's session last week.
Oh, okay. Yep. Give us some details, Croaks.
So Monday I got out for an hour at 4:24s. Loved it, felt great. And then Tuesday morning, jumped on the treadmill for 6 by 6 minutes, and So my standard warm-up is not great, particularly in the morning. So I jump on, do 20 minutes at just 5-minute Ks on the treadmill. I change my shoes. I go out to the footpath, do like a bit of a half-ass stride, jump on the treadmill, pump it up to like probably the pace that I'm going to start the rep at, do maybe 30 seconds at that, maybe pump it up another half a K an hour, jump off, and then I pretty much start. And some mornings, if I've sort of just been sitting around and haven't sort of been moving enough, that's just not enough for my back and hips to feel like they've really sort of loosened off. And so when I start the session, although heart rate and pace and everything is okay, it just doesn't feel smooth or efficient. And that's how I felt this morning. And I was probably just a bit relaxed about it all because I knew it was one of those really easy bread and butter sessions that you don't have to sort of get up for. So I started the session at, 17.5K an hour, so 326s. And first rep, I just, didn't feel like I was moving great. And then second rep sort of felt like just a little bit of a tightness in the middle of my calf. But I was like, oh, that's a bit odd. And then I reckon I may have just started to change my gait a little bit. And then I reckon it was probably the third rep that the inside of my shin, like pretty high up, maybe like 10 centimeters below my knee, sort of just spasmed. But it didn't get any worse. So my original plan was to do like 3 reps at 17.5K an hour because my heart rate wasn't even, like I was barely hitting 160 for this. So I was like, I'll do 3 at this and then I'll pump it up to 18K an hour for the last 3 reps. But then the way the calf was, like it certainly wasn't painful while I was running once it initially sort of settled down. So I certainly wasn't like limping through the session. But anyway, so I did 6 reps, cooled down. It didn't hurt cooling down. But then after the session, like, whenever I've had a muscle strain in the past, it's like you push that area and it's sort of quite tender. So I was like, hopefully it's just more of a cramp than like a tear or whatever, or a strain. So went to the gym that afternoon. I didn't run Wednesday because it wasn't sort of really walk around. There's definitely some like awareness, but it was still sort of tender, sort of right along the inside of the bone there. Went and got some treatment from Jimmy Barker on the Thursday. He didn't think there was too much wrong, so I tested it on Friday. Went out 45 minutes, and it wasn't terrible, but it was certainly like noticeable. So yeah, did 45 minutes at 4:20s. Went to the gym that afternoon. I sort of made the call there that in the past when I've had these little like calf strains, like I've probably turned a 10-day injury into 3 weeks by just testing it too often. So I decided at that point that I was going to treat it like it is a strain, and I won't run until I can pretty much touch it and it's not sore, hop not sore. So it's definitely improved the last couple of days. So it's a week, well, pretty much right now. It's a week since I did it now. So hopefully maybe later this week get out for a jog. But pretty frustrating. I was initially
going too. You were starting to get real fit.
Yeah, I was initially pissed off for probably the first 2-3 days, and then you start to sort of just come to accept it that hey, it is what it is, and there's not much you can do for strains. It's different when you've got these tendon issues. It's like you can really get in and rehab, but if you've got a strain, you need to rest it, and you need to rest it for long enough. So I did go to the gym on Sunday just to go and do something, but I can do calf raises with weight, and it doesn't hurt it. So, but it's been real frustrating, Brady. I feel like this year's just been a game of like snakes and ladders. It's like I climb the ladder for 4 to 6 weeks, and then I hit a snake, and I'm pretty much back to where I was 4 to 6 weeks ago. So it's like just a month before Gold Coast, pretty much in the same situation that I was last week, and then I get the flu, and it knocks me down for 2 weeks, and then I'm back to where I was, and then I've just got probably back to the point where I was a month before Gold Coast, and now it's probably 2 weeks of disruption. And and you look at my Strava bars for the year.
Yeah, it looks so good climbing.
It's almost like the old Billabong logo, like the waves up and down, up and down. It's just
Could you almost sort of preempt a pattern and design your training so that you do 3 weeks up and then you drop off for a week, 3 weeks, have that absorption week or something, rather than being forced to do that dip?
Yeah, my plan actually was to have a down week when we come up to Sydney, because I'm like, well, I've been doing all my sessions on the treadmill. I like doing my sessions on the treadmill. We head up on the Thursday, so I won't have a treadmill for the back end of the week. And I'm like, I'm going to treat that as a down week. And also feel like I've been and that's the reason I've been on the treadmill, is to be sensible, to take the ego out of it, run to heart rate, run to effort. But it's just one of those things. I just need to be more diligent with things like warm-ups and especially.
Yeah. Will you change your warm-up practice now?
Yeah, I think I just need to do sort of more mobility and stuff, especially for morning sessions before I actually jump on the treadmill, or after I've done the warm-up before I start. But you know what it's like. You do your 20-minute warm-up and you're like, I just want to get this session started and over and done with, rather than spending another 20 minutes on drills. But I think now at my age, it's like, you're going to have tight back and hips.
Yeah.
You didn't have that when you're 20.
Yeah, that's one thing I've really noticed in recent years. I never, as a physio, I used to prescribe these stretches and exercise, but I never used to actually do anything. I'd just head out the door. But now the night before a session, because I know on session morning I probably won't get around to it, just doing some where you lie on your back and you put your knee across that crucifix stretch, like doing a few of those rotational stretches for the back and through the hips and the adductors. I think they make such a difference, because I think when you're lifting things in and out of cars for the kids, picking up kids, I don't know, but my back feels so much more vulnerable these days, and I can't get away with just running and not doing those stretches anymore.
Like a sign for me that I need to be doing more mobility is every single session that I do on the treadmill, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th rep of 6-minute reps, I feel like I'm actually moving significantly better than the first 2. Whereas when I was younger, the back end of sessions would almost feel, it'd be split around, it'd be switch, because I didn't have the strength back then. So you feel real good the first few reps, and then the back end of the session, you're struggling.
I think it's also in the cold weather as well. That's the case big time. You feel better in your later reps. And it made me think, actually, Brady, listening to your warm-up for the 15K race the other day, maybe, there's room to actually extend the warm-up a bit more these days to actually make sure you get to the start line feeling like you're on your 4th rep or something instead of
What about the treadmill, Croaks? Like the same movement over and over too. Like all you've done is, faster running on the treadmill for 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, I think that probably played into the. So I was chatting to Jimmy about this, and he said that like if your hips and back are tighter and you're not in that sort of efficient running position, you will be loading up your calves more. And because you pretty much then, I always feel with the treadmill, your legs feel like you're spinning real quick as it is, which then if you're tight through the backs and the hips, you're almost hitting the ground when your brain's not quite ready to hit it. And I feel like that sort of can tweak calves. But I don't think there's an issue with me doing sessions on the treadmill. Like I've been...
Yeah. No, I'm more meant just that repetitive. Like it feels like more you're a mouse on a... what's it called? Like a
hamster wheel type.
Yeah, hamster wheel. Like you got no choice. You just got to keep up kind of thing. And no little bumps or change of surface where you can kind of give other muscles a bit of a go.
But that's where I think if I'm moving well, that's not an issue. It's when I'm not moving well that
then you're in that cycle.
Yeah.
And you don't think playing around with different footwear contributed at all?
Oh, actually, good point, Jess. So I had been doing the last couple of sessions in the new Tokyo Edge and Sky, and on Tuesday I went back to the Sky Paris, which I'd been doing like a lot of sessions in the past. I did notice a massive difference. Like the foam in the new ones are so much bouncier, whereas the Sky Paris almost felt dead compared to what I'd been doing in like the previous weeks. Like I don't think that's so much a factor because 2 weeks before that I was doing pretty much all my sessions in the Sky Paris, but that's when I noticed a big difference between the new models and the old model.
Yeah.
Did you see Tommy went back to the Paris for City to Surf?
Yeah, it felt dead for me compared to the new versions.
Yeah, they were talking about it on Shoe Geeks. What are you going to wear for the marathon, Jess?
Yeah, I think I'll wear the new version. So a couple of the big marathon sessions I've worn it, and I was a bit nervous because I loved the previous model, but that bounce, just hope it continues to feel good in those later stages. I didn't want to complicate things, so I've just stuck with the edge for now. But I think when you get this close to the race, you don't want those sorts of decisions to make.
But it's too hard now. Every brand is just putting up amazing shoes. We were just like sent some of the new ASICs, like is it Sonic Blast, and then the Mega Blast is coming as well. And I'm just like, I don't know which one now to jog in, or like I'm trying to get Moose to tell me. I'm like, where does this sit on the wall? Which one do I wear for which? It's getting complicated for simple people like me.
But then ASICs are complicating it because they're bringing out 2 great super shoes.
Too many good shoes.
Which one of these do I wear? It's the same brand.
Yeah, exactly right. That's a bit sad, Croaks. I felt like the momentum was building. We just started to make a stinger for you, like Chrissa. We had that soundbite, which was good.
Yeah, but with Croker, the better the shape, the sharper the brain.
And now we're stuck. We can't use that for a while.
Yeah, you might have to take me off the podcast for a few weeks. Brain's not going to be sharp.
Yeah, we need that brain sharp. I'll whistle through this week, eh? I was coming off a race Sundays, so Monday for me was 45 minutes easy in the morning. I averaged 4:39 pace. In the afternoon, I did go to the gym. I did an hour, so half an hour on the exercise bike and then half an hour on the elliptical. Turned the elliptical on this time, which made it a bit harder. Averaged 125 beats per minute for the hour. What are you kind of hitting when you're on there, Jess? Like you really work it to get the heart rate up, or are you just like, because I just want this at like my easy jogging heart rate?
Yeah, I haven't looked at heart rate lately, but from memory, it sort of averages... What does it peak at 135? It doesn't get that high.
Okay, you're not smashing yourself.
No, I have it set to this like rolling hills setting. So when I'm doing the equivalent of an easy jog, it's just sort of going up in intensity and then going down. So I'm keeping the same cadence and the resistance is just fluctuating.
Yeah.
But if I was injured and using the elliptical to replace a session, that's where I'd be really like pushing it harder and trying to get my heart rate up.
Yeah, I was just more like, yep, it's another hour I can get at easy jogging pace without the strain on the body kind of thing. Tuesday was 70 minutes in the morning, 4:38s, and then 45 minutes on the treadmill that afternoon. Clayton Young's back with new videos. That's so good. So I had that video going. Wednesday so I had 3 days easy after the race, which originally when I saw this, I was like, oh, I might try to push the Thursday to the Wednesday when I first saw it. But then I was like, nah, I really do need 3 days easy here. So I did 70 minutes in the morning at 4:36s. And then in the afternoon, I did 40 minutes and then did my plyometrics and then 5 by 15-second strides. And I was inspired by, pardon?
I'm inspired by you with these plyometrics. I don't want to add them in now, but I'm pretty excited to give them
Have
a
you
go.
ever done them in the past or anything?
Yeah, so I loved triple jump and long jump and those events when I was younger, and those sort of big hopping exercises I used to really enjoy, but they'd look very clunky now, but I really think there's a place for them. So I'd be keen to give it a go. But anyway, you keep going.
Yeah, don't try them a week and a half out from a marathon. But it is amazing how much better you do get over a short period of time, like 3 or 4 weeks. And mine has stepped up a bit now. And even the strides, I was inspired by Chriso because he was talking about how quick he was doing them last week. So the fastest 15-second stride I did on my GPS was 2:14k pace. So I was really trying to let it rip safely. Like I don't want to do a hammy or a calf out front of my house, smacking 15 seconds as fast as I can. So yeah, it was good to know there's some kind of speed there, which is why we're doing this stuff. I think Dan was like, use it or lose it. Like get in this plyometrics, get in some quick strides. We want to work on this, what's it called? Running economy, this stuff is, Croaks. And we're all getting old on this group chat today. We've got to be doing this stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think competing with Chriso over 15-second strides when GPS, there's a fair bit of error over 15 seconds is wise.
Yeah, but Chriso is old as well. So at least we're in the same boat. Thursday was a workout. So I was teaching Thursday. So I had to do this before school, which meant I had to do it on the treadmill. And it was a big workout. So 6 by 10 minutes. We're working on staying under 170 beats per minute. Sweated up a storm in the gym. Like this was a long time on the gym treadmill there. I went 152 for the first one, 158 for the second one, 160, 162, 163, 165. So it kind of crept up slowly. I was moving like the treadmill between like 18.5k to like 19k an hour. But I think there's a bit of mayo on that. This was probably, the foot pod kind of had me at 3:20 pace, whereas the treadmill was kind of saying 3:10 to 3:15 pace. Had the incline on like 0.5 as well, just trying to get going there. It felt right, but you made the point before, Croaks. You feel like your legs are going super quick, and then you look at your heart rate and it's like not where it needs to be, but you like don't really want to turn it up higher because you're not sure if you'll be able to keep up with the treadmill. So
yeah. What do you reckon that is, Brady? I would love to know. Like I've got a couple of theories, but it's amazing. Like if I'm running 320s on the treadmill, like going out and running a 320 kilometer outside feels quite rhythmical and it feels, like you're not, having to force it. Whereas that pace on a treadmill feels closer to 3-minute Ks. Like it's bizarre. Like I don't know if it's the fact that when you hit the ground doesn't move. And so you're hitting this like moving surface and maybe you're not quite getting as much purchase from each stride or something. I don't know, but it's definitely a thing.
Think that would have to be it, right? Your foot lands and then it gets pulled back behind you as opposed to you launching forward from that. It is a different neuromuscular sort of feel. Because I'm the same doing that lactate testing a while back. I just felt like my legs actually, I don't have enough fast twitch fibers to move them any quicker here, but your heart can sort of tolerate it, but just,
Well, I guess the heart rate's probably low because, the treadmill is doing sort of a little bit of the work for you. You're not having to work as hard to propel yourself, but it feels like your legs are, spinning.
And then it starts to feel dangerous.
At the end of the day, this was like 60 minutes worth of work around that, 160 beats per minute. So I knew I was working pretty hard there.
How did you tough mentally?
Yeah, how did your perceived effort? Because I do 30
this is like 6:38, and I've probably early in that. This is probably like 6:15 as well in the local gym. Yeah. Got the local Nana next to me on the treadmill going for a morning walk, and I'm just like blasting Snoop Dogg in my headphones, hammering, sweats flying everywhere. So like it's not the cleanest kind of environment here.
But perceived effort throughout that session. So when I do between 30 and 40 minutes of, 6-minute reps or whatever. So similar sort of intensity to what you're doing. And I feel like perceived effort throughout that whole 30 minutes stays about the same. But if you're doing 60 minutes worth of work, it must feel really, really easy early and more difficult late. Does it? Or no?
And I had 90 seconds off between. I should add that. But no, I don't know. Like the perceived effort, like you do warm up and you get into it kind of thing. And mentally, I feel like those last two were kind of easy because you're like, all right, it's 2 reps to go, even though the reps are 10 minutes long. Whereas, I don't know, it's a bit of a mindfuck early on because you're like, I've got to do 6 of these. And it's not feeling that smooth because it's early in the morning.
You're not warmed up properly,
you're stiff and like.
What about fueling at that time of the day? Did
so
you
I
get
had
to have breakfast or?
Yeah, I had breakfast. So I got up at like 5-ish, I reckon. Had a couple bits of toast and I had coffee, and then I was sipping away on like a carb drink from Precision, and then I had a 90-gram gel on the treadmill and a carb mixed drink as well. So, and I nearly got through the whole gel, but with the drink included, I probably got 90 grams. Probably 100 grams worth of carbs in on that hour because I knew that then I had to go to school for the day and I knew I had a 45-minute double. So I'm like, I can't afford to go watch Netflix for the next 5 hours or read a book. Like I've got to have energy to be able to survive this day. So
that's the benefit of the treadmill too, isn't it? If you were out on the roads, you never would have been able to get that fuel in.
Yeah. Went to school for the day, 45 minutes the afternoon. So that was like 33K day. With a day on the chalk, Croaks. You know what it's like on the chalk too.
Yeah, I don't do sessions before being on the chalk.
Yeah, rough day. I slept well Thursday night. Friday, 70 minutes in the morning and then 45 minutes in the afternoon. Listened to the road to Sydney, which got me through that run. I'll have to send you some audio, Jess. Suss out some, what Leanne's been up to. It's hard to know which side to go, isn't it, Croaks? Got Jess here. We've also got Leanne on the other show. We've got True Slabs riding on Jess, though, so we've probably got to go Team Jess to get this.
Just say go Australia.
It sounds like Jess has made a few smarter decisions with her health recently.
Yeah, Leanne did train through a bit of sickness, but yeah, it'll make her tough. She got Moose in her corner every week. They do like 2-hour episodes every week. I don't know. I got a message off someone the other day saying like they haven't heard Moose this energized in like years. Like Leanne's brought and Nick Earl, they both brought like this new life out of Moose. So
that's good.
It's good to listen to. Saturday morning was 70 minutes in the morning in that Brooks Hyperion Max 3 Croaks.
You've changed your opinion of that shoe, haven't you?
First wear, I was like, this thing's no good, too stiff, rockers in the wrong place. You and Moose were all about it. I was like, you guys have lost the plot. How do you think this is a good shoe? Second, third, fourth wear. It could be my jogging shoe of the year.
Yeah.
It is a great shoe. 40 minutes and plyos and strides in the afternoon. And then we finally get to Sunday, which was a long run and my second workout of the week. So it was 2 hours working on heart rate blocks for 40 minutes. So the first 40 minutes had to stay under 145, next 40 minutes 155, last 40 minutes 165. I just went out and back. I had 2 gels, so 2 90-gram gels. So I got 180 grams worth of carbs in. On my watch face, I just had lap time, average heart rate for the lap, and then current heart rate. And I just looked at that the whole time. So first 40 minutes, I averaged 141. And then when I looked back at the end, it was 354 pace. Middle 40 minutes was 152. And when I looked back, it was 338 pace. And then the last 40 minutes, I just couldn't get my heart rate up. Like Dan said, under 165. So naturally, I pretty much want to average 164, get as close to that line as I possibly can. And I got it averaged out at 159, and I was running hard and fast, but I just was not climbing much past 160. So, but then I looked at the end and it was 40 minutes at 324 pace, which I was quite shocked, like surprised when I saved my run, and it was, I wish I did know this because it was 32.99 kilometers at 151 beats per minute and 338 average K pace. So yeah, it was good. I was stoked to kind of see those numbers, but I was just talking to him. He was just saying like the fatigue, and then even though I did get 2 gels in worth 90 grams each, that lack of glycogen struggles to get the heart rate up later in the day. So or the workout. So that was good. Happy to
That's
see
a
that
really
one.
good session. There's a .99 club out there, actually. Like some
there?
people are really proud to get the
Okay.
.99.
Well, I think it just shows because like people at work be like, oh, why wouldn't you just run that extra bit? And I'm like, nah, my program said 2 hours. So I'm like, I'm running 2 hours. So that's what I'm stoked about, not the 33.00 that I could have potentially hit.
What sort of effort did that last 20 minutes feel like? Was it, you're on your limit, like working fairly hard?
Nah, I was just like, it felt solid, but not like I didn't feel like I could go any harder. When you're training for the marathon almost and you don't have that next gear, but you can sit at the gear under it for a long period of time. That's kind of what it felt like. I'm like, I'm working hard here, but if you said to me, hey, rip the last K in 2:55, I probably couldn't do it, but I could have went for another 10 minutes or probably more, another 20 minutes at that 3:24 pace that I was running. So
It's a very good session. It'll be interesting to see in like 5 months' time in summer, like what your heart rate does compared to these
this was beautiful weather too,
cold
like
days.
8 degrees, no wind, bit of drizzly rain. So yeah, that was a good week, 175K for the week. So yeah, that's solid, strong running. Tired though, like you get tired those easy days, 70 minutes in the morning, 45 in the afternoon, and that's your easy day with like nearly 2 hours of running. So you're carrying a bit of fatigue into this stuff. But
Is
anyway,
your easy day, like you can do that if you want, but you can also have a rest if you want, or is it still pretty much?
You don't get the green ticks if you don't do what's in the program, Jess. But I am now appreciating, so like one day a week, so yesterday, for example, was just one run, 45 minutes. And I'm like, I really have to respect that because I know for the next 6, I don't think there's any day shorter than an hour 55. So you're like, don't go fucking around on that. Like, that's why I shouldn't be going to the gym to do an hour on the exercise bike because I need that recovery time because then you turn up the heat again for the next 6 days. I've got double workout coming this week, Croaks. Double workout day.
Oh, what is it?
In the morning, it's 8-minute reps. And then in the afternoon, it is a 5-minute rep and then 30-second reps. So, yeah, I've never done that before. So that'll be interesting.
Bit of fifth gear, 30-second reps.
I think it's 3K effort, then working down. Whereas 3K effort for me is full gas. So anything under 5K effort, I always find like is full gas.
Look after that. Look after those calves, mate.
Yeah, I will. I'll stay injury free, hopefully. Can't have 3 of us injured on this show when Moose returns. Oh, no, he's back. He's going all right. Let's thank some Patreon supporters. Croaks, who you got?
I got Rupert Rhodes, who lives in Manchester. He's run 38:47 at the 2024 Hale 10K, which was at the back end of a 32-kilometre run. So I'm assuming it was like a marathon prep sort of session day. Ran 82:59 at the 2023 Manchester Half and 2:50 at last year's Manchester Marathon. He's possibly the content solutions lead at Channel 4.
Oh, yeah. Content solutions lead. What does that mean?
Don't know.
When they've got problems and they need solutions. Channel 4 is a TV show in England?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. It's a good title though, isn't it?
Let us know, Rupert, what your job description entails.
It'd look good on a LinkedIn profile. That's what it would. That'd be good. Thanks, Rupert, for your support of the Inside Running podcast. Jess, you ready to go?
I am. Am I?
You're the blue one.
Catriona Andrew. Couldn't find her on Strava, but I think she's from New Zealand and ran 77:25 to win last year's Auckland Half Marathon. According to her World Athletics profile, she has PBs of 9:55 for the 3K and 16:43 for the 5.
Pretty good, isn't it? She also, I reckon here she broke the New Zealand record for parkrun back in 2022. Googled her before, Croaks, to see if I can find any more information.
Good from you.
How good is that? 16:32.
Yeah, nice.
New Zealand parkrun record holder. She might have had that when they stopped taking the records too. She might have that for life.
Yeah, can't talk about parkrun records anymore, Brady.
Yeah, I reckon you still can. I'm going to thank, is it Sam Petite, Croaks? Pepite?
Pippiette?
Yeah.
Pippiette. Thanks you for your assistance there. He's from London and has set all his PBs this year. So he's ran 15:40 at the London 5,000 metres, 32:46 at the Saucony London 10K. That was a few weeks ago. 71:23 at the Brighton Half Marathon and 2:29:59 at the London Marathon. He's going well, isn't he? It's a good...
Time that to perfection.
Yeah, he's a 2:29 runner.
Yeah. Pretty sure he is a mechanical design engineer at Blatchford. Also, no idea what that means. Got anything to add there, Craigs?
No.
Mechanical design engineer.
Engineer, smart guy, good at maths.
Yeah, that's what we want. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters over there at patreon.com/Inside Running Podcast. If you like what we do, you can support the show. All details there, bonus shows. Probably had like the best 2 weeks of bonus content we've ever done, Croaks. UK Monthly Boys were the other day. We got Road to Sydney delivering long, informative episodes. Shoe Geeks came to you early. It's a good place to be at the moment, our Patreon page. Running news. We've got a bit of an announcement here too, Croaks. 50% off Axel Coffee between now and the end of the month if you use the code IRP50 at axelcoffee.com.au. Uses it to check out. Can only be used once per customer though. So a massive thanks to Axel Coffee. Did you get a delivery today too, Croaks?
Just as you started your weekly recap, my doorbell rang and there's a box of Axel.
Yep. My doorbell did also ring this morning as well. Let's go to the Diamond League first, Croaks. You're the Diamond League expert on this show.
Yes, I watched this Sunday morning. That was one of the advantages of not having to go out for a long run. I was able to kick back with a coffee and watch the Diamond League. So we'll kick off with the women's 3,000 metres. So this was a world record attempt for Faith Kipyegon. And they had Jess Hull doing some pacing along with Sage Herder-Klecker. Just missed it. Ran 8:07.04. The world record was 8:06. The thing I liked about this one was we see so many world records broken where the athlete like just absolutely smashes it and then does like just keeps running basically, does a lap of honour, whereas she was absolutely spent, crossed the line, sprawled out on the ground. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see much of the other race because the race got split really early. Amabor was second in 8:34. Aussies, Rose Davies was fourth, 8:36. Fourth in 8:36. Lauren Ryan was sixth in 8:37, which I believe was PB, and Georgia Griffiths was seventh in 8:40. So, pretty much splits of 2:42, 2:43 for the first couple, and that's when Jess pulled out. So, did you think she was going to get it before the race?
Well, I was kind of hoping she wasn't because there's so much controversy around that record as it is. So it's set in, 1993 from Wang Jungxi from China at the time. And isn't like 3 or 4 people ran similar times that day at this race?
Mars Army, I think it was like the group or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy around it. So like someone coming out and bettering those times that have a lot of controversy, I was like, what does that mean? I'm a big fan of Faith, interviewed her, asked her one question once. But yeah, I like seeing people suffer, to make it real. Do you know what I mean?
But that argument, Brady, so the women's 1,500 metre record was 3:50 by a Chinese athlete in 1990 and Faith's running 3:48. So,
yeah. Yeah, sometimes I just think in this day and age, you put it well, like seeing people suffer, not be able to do victory laps, actually not get the records, I think is a bit healthier for our sport.
It makes them a bit more human.
I thought she was going to get it though in that last lap.
Jess
down
set her
the
up
back
pretty well.
straight, she accelerated and you're like, well, she doesn't have to run super, super quick. But obviously the last probably 150 just started to like tie up a little bit.
What's the Australian 2K record, Croaks? Because Jess went through in 5:25.
It's the world record, Brady.
Yeah, what's her world record?
Well, you look it up and I'll continue. Anything to add, Jess?
No, just thinking it would have been a pretty cool experience for Jess too. Like it looks like she has a good relationship with Faith and pretty high pressure.
Yeah.
Did a great job.
All right, next.
5:19 Croaks. Jess was cruising running 5:25.
6 seconds.
Yeah.
Women's 1,500. This was quite an interesting race as well. So Tsegay, who I think her last Diamond League, she pretty much left the pacer and went through, sub 60 seconds for the first 400. Did something similar, but she actually stayed behind the pacemaker. Went through 800 in sub 2 minutes. And then they had like Halem, Halu, and Chibet were in like a chase pack, and then there was the rest after that. And so she held on really well. It actually would have been interesting had she not gone so quick through that first 800. She's probably getting fairly close to the world record. So she won in 350.62 with like tying up, the last sort of 150, 200. Chibet was second, 354, and Hunter Bell did her crazy close again. Like she always just sits way back and then just comes through the field late. So yeah, third there, 356. Linden Hall was sixth, 356.39, which was a PB for her. And Sarah Billings was 14th in 4:05. Watch this, Brady?
Yeah, I did. And I think if she can get a pacer to go longer as well. Like those ladies, did they drop it 2 laps to go?
Yeah, something like that. But it's too aggressive too early, which in a 1500 just comes back to bite you in the last lap. Whereas if she's going through like 203, like that's a big difference, and it's going to give her just something to close with.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in the next race as well. But where are we at with who's going to get picked for the World Champs team? So who are our women in the 1500? Jess is locked in. She's been selected already, like Cam Myers.
So you got Jess.
And there's 2 spots left.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously Linden off that, you'd have to imagine. But, Linden's also qualified for the 5K. I don't know from a timetable point of view whether it's actually possible to do the 15 5K double. But I think you'd probably have to put Linden in the team.
And then you got Georgia looking at the sort of the double too, I guess.
Yeah. So it might come down to there's probably enough positions for them all to get a run. It's just the dynamic of who's doing the 5K, who's doing the 1500.
Yeah. Because Sarah Billings, like this 4:05, and she had like a phenomenal season, but it feels like it's just dragging on a bit too long because she was running so well in March, April. But are you kind of suggesting that the only way she would get in if those girls prioritised running a 5K, which left her a spot open for the 1500?
Well, probably. I'll just open up this road to Tokyo. So who are our top 3 on that road to Tokyo?
Not sure, but you just shoot. Yeah, you're kind of saying
So
Jess
where's
Hull,
Abbey?
Linden Hall, Georgia Griffiths. Abbey, or is she going to concentrate on the 8?
I think she'd have to focus on the 8, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Like I reckon Claudia and Abbey definitely like the 800. Yeah. And who's the other? And then who's? I wouldn't be. What's Sarah run for 800?
Yeah, 8. Yeah.
So
That's right.
Maybe she gets in there.
we should have looked this up beforehand, shouldn't we?
No, that's all right. No, we'll just say people going to start having those conversations at this stage.
So Sarah's 4th on the Aussie sort of rankings in this road to Tokyo. So Georgia Griffith is 3rd, and Linden Hall 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your top 3.
Have they all qualified?
They would have, yeah.
But then don't the selectors just use their discretion about who goes?
Yeah, they often then look at like the national championships to see who was, first and second there. Often if you come second and you've got the standard or you're in the quota, you get a spot. Just looking up the women's 800.
Do you reckon they consider those road 2 points at all?
Don't know. Claudia, and then obviously Abbey 2nd, and Sarah Billings is 3rd in the 800.
Okay.
She has run 157.83.
Yeah. Oh, she had a phenomenal season.
So yeah, I think that's probably your 800 meter team there. Those 3.
Yeah.
And
then
then,
when you just see this result though, and she's 9 seconds behind Linden, like you kind of had her in the same conversation as Linden.
that happens though.
Yeah.
Like that's only one race. Like I don't think she's had too many poor races, has she?
I reckon her last one was. Have you got her profile there too?
I'll look that up.
I reckon the last one may have been a bit slower than what she'd been running as well, and she might have an injury or something. I'm not sure, but she's been up for a very long time.
All I know is that basically all of our middle distance and even into distance like 5K team, like it's so strong, like strongest it's ever been.
You look that up. I'll tell you about the 1500 metres. So Nagoose got the win here. This was a real weird race. The pacemakers went out, and then Ollie Hoare kind of, got into that 3rd spot behind the 2 pacemakers, but nobody else seemed to go with him. And then you watch the footage, they get to 2 laps to go, and then they just cut away to the pole vault.
Terrible.
And then
I wrote that in the notes, Brady. I'm just
I know.
shit.
They only cut back to the race when it's like a lap to go. Ollie Hall's getting swamped because I thought it was very brave. Well, I don't think he actually knew. He was just like, I'm just getting on the pacemaker. Everyone will get on the pacemaker. But it turned out he was the only one that got on the pacemaker. And then once the pacemakers dropped out, it was like, oh, shit, Ollie's in no man's land here and he's going to get swamped by this world-class field that's behind him. So Naguse did get the win, 3:33.19. Tim Chariot was second, 3:33.5. Cam Myers was 6th in 3:33.8. So these are all coming across the line pretty much together. Ollie was 8th in the end, 3:34.4. Cam was second at the bell and kind of had a pretty good position down the back straight, but then did get caught up in a bit of messy stuff again. Didn't fall over this time, which was good. And I did see that interview afterwards that he kind of said not hitting the deck was a bit of a goal in this race. But he was in a position to win again, but he just gets caught amongst bodies, Croaks, your boy.
He was better this time around. Like, I watched him early on in the race, and rather than being right on the rail, he was sort of on the outside so that he could always like get out if he had to. And then at the bell, he's in second place, probably like 5 meters behind Ollie. And then down the back straight, it was just before 200. He's still not on the rail, maybe just on the outside of lane 1, but they're going past Ollie. But a few people then went on the outside of Cam, and Cam sort of then had nowhere to go. So he almost got sort of held up a little bit until those other guys had gone past, then he could go around. And then around 150 to go, he sort of got clipped and knocked around a little bit. But Ollie's run, although it looked sort of reckless, the pace that he went out at, that's the pace that they've been going out at like all season.
This was slow for a Diamond League, 3:33 winning time.
But I think the difference is everybody has run, all those 1,500 guys are in that field have run super quick already this season. They've already like pretty much got their qualifiers for world champs. They're starting to think now about championship racing and, you know, trying to win these races, or even look at somebody like Naguse. His best chance of, or his only chance of going to world champs now is actually winning the world the Diamond League final. So he needs to get points. So he just wants to win that race. So he doesn't care about time. So that's why he's not going with the pacemaker. Ollie's the only one really in that race that needs to run a fast time to get the selectors to go, yeah, Ollie's a clear second or clear third compared to Jude Thomas and Adam Spencer. So that's why he did it, whereas the other guys are thinking more about world champs now and, you know, trying to win races and, you know, different tactics.
That must be a frustrating position to be in.
Yeah. It's got to help his chances though, doesn't it? Like, he didn't get swamped and get spat out the back. Like, he finished within 0.6 of a second of Cam. He said, hey, I'm going to have a crack, which I think the selectors will enjoy seeing. He's putting himself in these situations. And I thought he was very brave the way he kind of fought on there. Could have chucked the cards down and really struggled over that last 150, but he was fighting all the way to the line to still, like, 8th in that field. That could nearly be chucking a few more people, but that could be an Olympic world champ semi-final kind of caliber field for sure.
I think if the selectors are looking just at the time, it doesn't help him. But when you factor in the way that it was run, and he actually held on really well, as you say, like, he could have easily, you know, lost a couple of seconds and been way out the back the way that he ran it. But the fact that he was still there down the home straight and was, you know, 0.6 or whatever behind Cam is an encouraging race.
Yeah. Are the selectors the same as they were for last year for the Olympics? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
I had someone ask me and they found the document that said like the selectors from last year, but I don't know if they've announced it since. But yeah, they've got some busy times ahead.
But back to Sarah. So like before 0405, she ran a 158.99 800, 233K, 359 1500, 402 1500, 406, 157. So that's the thing. It's like,
is probably one I was talking about.
That 406 was in May.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, you know, so she's run 406 and then she's had 402, 359, 158, and then back to 405. So I think it often happens with these middle distance races where you are going to have a bad one every now and then. So but I think she'll be on the 800 metre team.
Yep. Talking about 800 Croaks, we've got a new Australian record. No one's been able to watch it though.
Yeah, because it wasn't it was a non-Diamond League race. Saw like some highlights of just like the last 100, but Keeley Hodgkinson, she got the win, 154.74, her first race in a long time, and that was a world lead. Lillian Odira was second, 156.52. Claudia, she was fifth, 157.67, which broke Cat Bisset's national record by 0.11 of a second. And Abbey Caldwell was sixth in 157.70, which was also a PB for her and under Cat's old national record as well. Cat was in the race, finishing 10th in basically 2 minutes flat.
So good.
Yeah,
She was always going to get that record at one stage, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Like for the last 3 years.
an interview afterwards, and Claudia said, she's been training really well up at St. Moritz. She had a 1500 that she wasn't that happy with. She said she kind of just sat back and sort of wanted to feel out the race and realised these days the races are so quick. You just have to put yourself up there and be aggressive. And so that's the approach she took. She wanted to sort of sit behind Keeley. She said she's working on her first 200. And anyway, the way she was talking, she just sounds so mature and just sounds like such a winner. She's really just saying, I want to experience all the different race conditions so that I can be competitive at world champs. And it's so exciting to hear her speak and watch her race, a bit like Cam in that she's just got that real winner's attitude.
Yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it, Jess? This is what I was trying to talk about last week on the show about whose poster would you have on the wall.
Yeah.
Like these
Should be up
18,
there.
20, yeah, like they just speak so professionally for their age.
Yeah.
Cat Bisset, Brady.
Too flat, wasn't she?
Yeah, a bit concerned. Like she hasn't really had a great season at all. Like I don't know if she's even broken 2 minutes, or if she has, it's
New coach. She's training with Keeley's group now, isn't she?
yeah, she is.
Yeah. Might take a while to click in, Croaks.
Yeah, and look, I originally thought, she's having it's a long season this year. So there's no need to be running really well at nationals and May, even into June. But we're getting to the point now where you'd expect to be starting to fire now. And
she paced something too, didn't she? She paced that 1500 meters.
She paced that 1500 when Tsegay.
Yeah, it didn't go with the pace.
Yeah. So this year she's had 202, 203, 201, 203, 202, and then 2 flat. So that was a season's best for her. 2 minutes 0.64, but needs to find a lot. And what's she got? Another week maybe till the period ends to probably take Sarah Billings' spot.
Yeah. And where she needs to get to, she's been before. She's a 157 lady, so that must give her confidence.
Yep.
Wonder what it'd be like being in sessions with Keeley, who goes out and runs a 154.
Yeah, so she hadn't raced since the Olympics, had she?
No, I don't think so.
Then come out and did that as her first race.
That'd have to be close to a personal best for her, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
If the world record's 153 something.
Yeah, that's it's phenomenal that she can do, because they named a meet after her or something, didn't they? Like the Keeley Classic, and she was meant to kind of race there, and she had to withdraw. And
was that an indoor one?
I think so. I don't know, but yeah, it's been a long comeback for her.
154.61.
Ooh. Yeah, she's a global superstar now too, isn't she? Like in Paris, she was like one of the big, presenters. She was up there on the stage. She did a couple of speeches at the to the press and stuff. Like I think Nike have her very high on their list of people representing the brand. Want to make your next race day the best one yet? Well, dialing in your nutrition strategy is one of the most effective ways you can do that. Luckily, our show sponsor, Precision Fuel and Hydration, offers you the chance to do this in the most effective way possible. Book a free consultation with their team to fine-tune your fueling plans. Emphasis here on you, as they offer tailored advice based on your circumstances and the race you're taking on. They're there to help you achieve your goals all year long, and as mentioned, this service is free of charge and a great opportunity to ask them any questions you may have about fueling and hydrating for your race. No question is too daft for them. We've loved Precision for a long while, and this free service is another reason why. Use the link in the show notes and use code IR-Spring 2025 for 15% off your first order and start smashing those goals today. Talking about another guy representing the brand of Nike, Seth O'Donnell. He won this 5K race it was a little low-key meet, wasn't it, Craig? It's a weird kind of race. He ran 13:18, won the race by 22 seconds. His training partner and YouTube producer, I reckon Sammy, was in the same race, running about 16:30. So they must have been trying to get numbers or something for people to finish the race. But yeah, weird, but good to see Seth kind of dominating a 13:18, but on the road to Tokyo stuff for him, because he needs to get the qualifier, doesn't he? He's got the national championship, so he's in 42nd position at the moment, and they take 42. But there's also there's 5 people in front of him who are on that same position, but they just have different kind of points. So he's got 1,251, and the top one's got 1,221. So he needs to do something between now and this qualifying period ending, which is the 24th of August. Oh, wow. That's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, not even. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there probably are meets over there, like in Europe, on weekdays that he could look at. But
yeah, he's in that tough situation at the moment where, because he doesn't have a big name manager, I think he's in that point now where he struggles to get into the races that he should be in.
The system.
Yeah, which is a shame, because to try and run the standard pretty much on your own, which is what he would have had to have done at that meet when second's coming in at 13:40.
So some of these guys won't take their spot, so will they? Do you know what I mean? Like, so some of these guys might be doing the 10K only, so they won't be taking their 5K spot.
Can you do the 5-10 double at Worlds?
Yeah, I think so, because the 10's often like the first night, and then the 5Ks later in the week.
Yeah, okay.
But then there's also, some people might not take their spot because the federation may not send them. They've been brutal in the past where just because they're in the rankings, they're not going to send them unless they've run the time or they think they're going to medal at the world champs.
Or there's some who might have the 15 as well to consider.
Yeah, like Cole Hocker's in here. Like he'll probably double, won't he? 15 and 5.
Then you've also got the Lausanne Diamond League.
Still to come.
Yeah, and Jude Thomas is running that one.
Yeah, so we've got, from an Aussie point of view, Kai Robertson safe in position 25 and Jack Rayner's also there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's got to help those boys. Interesting week for Steph. What else we got? Chicago Marathon Fields got announced. 6 men have run under 2:04. So you got John Correa returning to defend his title. Kip Lemo's also going to race his second career marathon after he ran 2:03 in his debut in London. And Connor Mance, he's going to lead the American contingent. He'll be targeting the American record, which is 2:05.38. He has ran quicker than that, but Boston times don't count. He's ran 2:05.08. Khalid Kanuchi, 2002. He ran that at the London Marathon as well. So that's American records that have stood for 23 years. There wouldn't be many of them. And I reckon he's got his eye on that one. You'd think a big bonus financially if he could get that as well. Galen Rupp also going to return for his first marathon since the 2024 US Olympic Marathon Trials. Keep an eye on that one for October. The women's field as well. They got 5 sub 2:20 women. So less than Sydney, Jess. How many sub 2:20 at Sydney? 10?
Yeah, something like that. It was
a
lot. I sort of stopped counting after.
Yeah, when you look at the list, it's like, oh, this is quite competitive. But Tay from Ethiopia, she's going to make her debut. So she's ran 14:12 over 5K, 29:50 over 10K. So that's exciting to see what she can run there. It's a big week of news thanks to Axel Coffee. A reminder, 50% off discount IRP50 at checkout, axelcoffee.com.au. And if you're in Sydney next week, Axel's going to be doing some stuff with Ernieold. They've got a bit of a pop-up shop going with some runs. Check out their socials for details leading into Sydney Marathon next week. going to be some good stuff happening in Sydney. Should see how many events Croaks are signed up for, Jess.
Have you signed up? Lululemon's got some exciting things happening.
He's not doing Lululemon. He's doing about 15 other brands, but I don't think he's got Lululemon booked yet. I think one day he's working for 4 different brands.
Locked in for 2 things, I think, over the whole 4 days that I'm up there, Brady.
He'll have Brooks runners on at 9 a.m. and then he'll have some ASIC stuff on at 11 a.m. and then a bit of on stuff at 2 p.m. and then he'll be drinking beers for a certain brand at 5 p.m.
Back to running news, Brady. So Kiplimo won't be running world champs then on the track, 10K. And also I believe Cheptegei and Kiplimo are both maybe not running world champs because they're focusing on the roads.
Are they?
Which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, I did read that somewhere.
Okay.
Definitely Cheptegei. But I'd imagine, I heard somewhere that Kiplimo might also not be running world champs.
Well, there we go. Is Kiplimo in this 5K list? Let me have a look. That could be good for Setho. Takes out Kiplimo. These are the kind of things we need.
But the thing is, it's like Ethiopia would have heaps in there anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
Gee, I'd love to see Seth in the green and gold. I hope he makes
so would
it.
I.
Yeah.
So would a lot of people in Australia. A couple of whispers here. Nick Earl to Hoka. That was announced on the road to Sydney. So good on Nick picking up a deal with Hoka. Yeah, I thought he was
been training in Hoka shoes, or will this be a new shoe for?
No, he's been in Hoka. Hoka reached out to Moose. Was quite shocked when he started announcing this kind of stuff. Moose couldn't make any sense of it. He's like, "What?" Yeah, so that's big news.
Influencer Nick Earl.
Yeah, yep. Also, put a watch on Bridget Kosgei, Jess, at Sydney. So big name journalist in the running world hit us up asking if we heard any whispers about Bridget Kosgei and her current form.
Yeah.
We declined. We didn't know anything, but there might be something going on with her form leading into Sydney.
As in, she's like on, or
no, we're hearing more. We're potential more off.
Yeah,
we don't actually.
She unfortunately had to pull out of the Olympics, and that's where Sharon Leketi stepped in. She ended up finishing 4th.
Yeah, that's right.
But that was Bridget's spot.
She did pull out of something at the start of the year too, didn't she? And then she got herself right for Hamburg.
Was that London? Oh no, that wouldn't have been London then. If it was Hamburg.
What was it? I can't remember what it was. I was just on an Instagram page before. But yeah, she still ran 2:18 in Hamburg, so she's fit. But just keep a watch on that, Jess. And then my Brady on the loose this week is people whinging. Sydney Marathon related people whinging about stuff. This is the stuff I've seen over the last week. People whinging about the start time. Someone on this show whinging about the start time the other day. People whinging about getting public transport to the start line. Like, just figure it out. It's not rocket science. It's Sydney. It's a major city. You'll be able to work it out. People whinging that there's no bag drop on race day. Like, just sort that out. Get some stuff from the op shop. I'm sure they've got a program where they donate all the clothes. I know there's more to it than that, but, you should be able to get that sorted. People whinging about it not being pancake flat. Like, just embrace the hills. It's like 300 metres of elevation. It's not that hilly there. What else? People whinging today about the design of the medal. Like,
is this all on social media? Or?
All on social media,
Okay.
yeah.
Can I add one?
Yeah, what else you got?
The starting location. I would love
people whinging about that.
I would love for it to start in Kensington, thank you. So I can rock out of where I'm staying and start my long run.
The start is pretty epic, Jess. I'm sure Adam's done his due diligence on that start, but you really do fly down that first 1.5, 2Ks. Like it's a cool downhill finish.
So excited to be able to run across the bridge. And if it means you've got to start at 6:30 to be able to do that, start at 6:30. I mean,
actually, on the start time, Brady, I was whinging about the start time more so of finding excuses as to not have to do it and watch the race instead. But I think 6:30, given we saw a couple of years ago that it can be hot that time of year, having a 6:30 start is the best thing for the athletes, 100%.
My point is, Sydney is a beautiful city. This is the first year it's a World Marathon major, and there are so many things to look forward to that I feel sad for people wasting their energy, like criticising these tiny little things. Like in years to come, 10, 20, 30 years' time, if Sydney turns out to be a Boston or a New York, and you have the memories of saying you were there on year 1, you got to run over the bridge, Safana San's at the front of the women's race, battling out with Jess Stenson, and then you've got your Kipchoge with Brett Robinson. Like, you're going to have these awesome memories. Don't get yourself beat down in the little details of things that are possibly whinge-worthy at the moment. And I know some of these things aren't ideal. And and I'm not saying this from a place of privilege. I'm not in the elite hotel. I'm not getting a bus to the start line. I'll be on the public transport with Croaks. Like I think just embrace it that you're going to be there on year one and just cut out the whinging. That's my Brady on the loose, Croaks.
Need
Be grateful.
Moose's TED Talk. Remember the one where he said, things aren't going to always go perfect and deal with it?
Yeah. Think of people like Moose who are, dealing with injuries and would love to be on that start line in full health. I've got a mate who was coming over from the UK and he got injured and he had to cancel his flights and his accommodation. And these people would love the opportunity to be on those start lines. So don't worry about the small stuff leading to Sydney Marathon.
I think if you just always imagine being in the organisers' shoes, like they've grown so big so quickly. I know they've put a lot of effort into it, but there are always going to be a few little teething issues when an event just sort of becomes this big over a couple of years. And so sometimes when you might have a bit of a complaint, just step back and think, far out, imagine being on the other end of this and trying to coordinate that many people and closing streets and everything.
Yeah, focus on the positives and enjoy it. It's going to be a pretty special morning, but that's all I had to add there. Listener question, Croaks. Let's bring it home.
This episode's listener question is proudly brought to you by Precision Fuel and Hydration. And the question is, with GPS being longer than marathon courses, should I be training faster than goal marathon pace? And that question is from Ben Ferriff.
It's a good question, isn't it?
I'd never thought about that before. I wonder if this is, I guess, if you're relying on your GPS a lot in training as opposed to having measured K marks.
Yeah, well, most people are, aren't they? You guys have an awesome setup in South Australia where you can do those workouts. It's measured out, but you'd have to say the majority of people are just going what's happening on their GPS.
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually that important that I don't think you need to be running faster than goal marathon pace to factor in that, because at the end of the day, when you're doing these marathon sessions, you're going to be under heavy fatigue as it is. Who knows what the weather's going to do? So if you're fixated on hitting specific splits in training, you're likely to cook yourself anywhere. So I think it's just as important. Like if you're within that sort of 5 second a K range, like you did just the other day, where it's like, okay, Adam wants you to run 3:20s, but you're like, hey, I'm not really feeling it. Marathon rhythm and effort today feels more like 3:25s. You're going to get the same physiological benefit of doing that. So I think sometimes you don't want to be a slave to your watch, as long as it's ballpark.
And I guess when you're in a big marathon event, you're not always running the shortest line. So sometimes when it's measuring long, it's probably because you just haven't been able to take the inside, or you've been running around some people. So it's there are a few factors on race day that can affect the overall distance, aren't there? And being always aware of that sort of 5 second window, as you say, I think is probably important.
Well, as well, like pace in training is always going to feel harder than race day, because you're rocking up to wherever you're training, and it's you don't have the same level of adrenaline as you do on race day. So 3:25s in training is, you're going to be running 3:20s for the same effort in a race.
Yeah, and you've got to get to the start line of the marathon knowing that GPS is now going to be off. Like how many big marathons you do where the GPS jumps around with the buildings, or on a different side of the road where it's actually measured from. That's where you can I just turn my GPS like my K splits off and stuff like that, because I know the course K splits are now the most important thing. So keeping an eye on that over what my GPS is saying.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brady. I think that's the most important thing is, don't be a slave to GPS on race day, especially if you've got like a goal time. Or I guess you still need to run within yourself until a particular effort. But if you are trying to hit specific splits, you need to focus on the course, not the GPS, because you probably will be like 2 to 3 seconds a K different.
And you can learn that at the first 5K checkpoint if your watch beeps way before or way afterwards. You know that you can't be relying on your watch that day. But where it gets really tough is for the pacers. Like, I don't know how you boys have done it previously. But
we've done it well too, Jess. Ask us. We've done it well. No, that's where you do it. So we will have we would manually split every K, wouldn't we, Croaks, off the course?
No,
that's what I would do.
I split still every 5K, but I pretty much memorize what I need to run for each of those individual 5K. So let's say 4 minute Ks. It's like, I just need to remember I need to be 4, 8, 12, 16, and then 20. And then
and then you hit lap and it starts.
And then I hit lap, and then I'm like, okay, I need to be 4 minutes at this first K of the next 5, 8, 12.
Yeah. I think in answer to that question, really, it is all about your effort, isn't it? Like if you're going to be overreaching in training to try and run a bit faster than your goal marathon pace, you're probably not going to get the most out of yourself at the end of the day anyway. So always coming back to that marathon feel, and whether that means you have to adjust your goal a little bit, I think you're going to end up in a better place than if you're pushing beyond marathon effort to try and, run a bit faster so that your GPS on race day lines up.
It's probably worth that. Yeah, you go.
I just if you're so focused on hitting pace in training and you go out there and it's 25 degrees, but the race is going to be in 10 or it's blowing a 30k an hour wind, and all you're worried about is making sure you're running goal marathon pace, that's not the purpose of that. That's not the purpose of the session. Like you're going to be running half marathon effort.
And even checking the ego a bit. So like say your goal marathon pace is 4-minute Ks and you've done a whole lot of work in 4-minute Ks. Well, maybe those 4-minute Ks on the course are going to really be 4:02, 4:03s. Like you've got to add a bit of a tax to it. So if you, are going a bit slower, this is okay. I'm expecting this maybe is going to be a couple seconds too slow because I'm not on a straight road in training by myself and I'm using a GPS which is thousands of kilometres away, not the course measurers who have just measured it on the road.
And you made a good point last week, Brady, with even when you did your warm-up for Ballarat, it's like you went and did 3 minutes as a warm-up at the pace that you needed to race 15k at, and it felt really hard.
It did,
but then you get in that race environment. So I think, as long as you're not, 15 seconds a K slower than goal marathon pace, but it's in that sort of window and it's the marathon rhythm, that's the most important thing, not being a slave to the watch.
On you, Ben. Good question. Thanks to Precision Fuel and Hydration. Visit precisionhydration.com and use the code IR-SPRING 2025 for 15% off your first order. Patreon supporters, you get 20. Check the page for your discount code. What's coming up, Croaks? What do we got? Big week. Ooh. Diamond League, the last one before the...
Yeah, actually there might be two. Did you say 24th?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 2 Diamond Leagues between now and the close of the qualification period. Lausanne and Brussels.
And Seth can't get into either of them.
Well, I couldn't find the...
Look at this 5K.
Couldn't find the start
Jack
list
Rayner,
for
June
Brussels.
Thomas, Grant Fisher, Gebruet. That Australian record could go again. Claudia's in another 800 with Keeley again and Hunter Bell. Brussels, we don't have start lists for yet. National Cross is happening. Adelaide sending a few people, Jess?
Yeah, we are. Particularly some of the juniors are heading over. They're excited for it. We've got like Tessa Ebert and look forward to following along. That'll be good course there in Victoria Park, isn't it? I remember seeing that at the Ballarat Marathon and thinking it looked pretty good in there.
Yeah, pretty flat in there. I'm just wondering what the
maybe quite muddy.
Yeah, I'm thinking just it was perfect there last week when we had the it's no rain predicted this week. 13 degrees there on Saturday. So it should be good cross country weather. Ed Marks is there. He'd start favourite, Croaks.
Yeah, I've got Bronte Oates and Ed Marks as my favourites for National Cross.
Yeah,
who can
Bronte
challenge
will be
him?
hard to beat.
So Zach Faccioni is in the men's.
It's a bit of money up too, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I think they pay pretty well.
Yeah, you got Ed Marks, like Liam Cashin, the AV, top AV runners, Matt Buckle. But I'm not sure what shape Zach's in, but yeah, Ed and Zach. In the women's, I actually sent this through to somebody yesterday. You've got Kate Spencer, who I sort of sent through, who I thought was sort of the top people.
You've done the form already. Yeah,
in the men, so Ed Marks, Zach Faccioni, Matt Buckle, Liam Cashin, Aidan Velton, Andre Waring. Top women, Bronte Oates, Ruby Smee, Kate Spencer, Jenny Blundell, Georgia Hanson, and Jayla Hancock Cameron.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. They'll be talking about that next week. What's coming up in your life, Jess? Easy week before going to... When do you fly to Sydney?
Next Wednesday. So, yeah, this week we'll just be getting organised. Got to send a message off to Billy's school to say you'll be away for a while and backing off the training. It's a good feeling you start to overthink things a little bit too much and wonder, should I do that, afternoon jog or not? And I like to start backing things off this week rather than relying on that final week. So, I'll be taking it pretty easy.
Are you looking forward to not having and look, most of your marathons, to be fair, have always been sort of championship races where you've never been out to chase a time, but it must be nice not, obviously if you go to Valencia, it's, you want to run fast there. Whereas this one, it's about, we want to compete, but you don't have to be a slave to how fast you're running. Yeah,
I think that competition part, coming from a background in team sports, and it just, I don't know, I don't feel as motivated by just going out and having splits and just straight long roads. I really do like a bit of variety in there, and it'll be really nice having family there, being a marathon on home soil. I think the last one I did in Australia must have been 2018 on the Gold Coast.
Gold Coast Games.
It's been a while.
Paced you that day for part of it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yep. Where are you this year?
I'm not fit enough.
Look after that calf.
don't mention pacing and Sydney Marathon. Brady will get a bit upset.
No, you were more upset than I was about it. Do you think someone rolls out a sub-elite male pacer, Jess?
I don't imagine, but I think it will kind of just happen on the day that packs will form. I remember that's what happened. Actually, they were some of the guys you trained with, Brad, at Lonnie Half. There'd been no chat, and then we all just sort of found ourselves in a little group. So I think there'll be enough domestic men around that mark that some little packs might form anyway, but I don't think there'll be anything necessarily talked about beforehand.
Actually, it'll be interesting to see, because it is obviously a world marathon major, so you'd like to think that there's quite a few international people travelling for it compared to previous Sydney marathons. How much depth will there be in that sort of 218 to 225, which traditionally there hasn't been a lot at Sydney Marathon, has there, Brady?
Whether there'll be
lead members sometimes with
Japanese
or second or third
runners, and it'll be really interesting to see. I'm just interested to know, and we'll find this out the day beforehand at the briefing, what sort of pace the female pacers are going to go out at. Is it 2:15 kind of?
This is why I haven't got the job, Croaks. I can't do the job. You can't employ someone who's inept at doing the job. Will you, the whole family, will go into the race hotel, Jess, or will you go in solo a couple of days before?
No, it's the whole family. It's going to be interesting.
Okay.
So, hopefully everyone's sleeping well, and just have to go into race week well rested and accept that the couple of nights beforehand, who knows what will happen. But I'm getting pretty used to sneaking in and grabbing clothes and being quiet now. And I just actually got my plan from my sports dietitian, and I think I've got to be eating my first meal at 4 a.m. or earlier. So I'm going to have to try and be very quiet that morning to not wake up the kids for the day, because that'll be a very long Sunday if they're sort of up at that time.
Be harder than the race.
Poor Dylan.
We do have a quick competition going with Brooks for one of the events that we're involved in up there, Croaks. So this one, listeners, you get a chance to win a VIP pass to this epic run plus live podcast recording cruise on the harbour on Thursday, the 28th of August. So this is on the Brooks Hyperion houseboat in the heart of Sydney. So if you're from Sydney, great. But if you're not, mate, don't enter this competition unless you're in town on Thursday the 28th. All you have to do is enter. You have to follow our Instagram page and Brooks Running Australia. You need to tag a mate to bring along in the comments as well. So keep an eye on our socials there. Winners will be selected at random and contacted via Instagram on Friday the 22nd of August. So that's the end of this week. So get entering. Keep an eye out for that one to pop up on our socials. What are you doing, Croaks?
Hopefully get back on the snakes and ladders game. Okay. Hopefully climb up the ladder and get myself healthy enough to go on that run before the cruise.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good run. Looking forward to that. All right, Jess, a massive thank you for helping out today. It's always good having you on the show. Can't wait to see what happens at Sydney. It's going to be – I think this is going to be epic for Australian distance running. I think the men's race is kind of getting a bit overlooked because everyone's just focusing on the women's race. And yeah, this course is going to suit you. And you got 2 big Australian competitors and a world-class field that you're going to be a part of.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for sure. Very competitive, but it's exciting. I just love that Australia has another big marathon event on the calendar now. It's obviously they're all selling out pretty quickly, and it's the first year where so many people in Adelaide are saying they're getting ready for Sydney Marathon. You can really notice a difference this year, so it's exciting.
Awesome. All right, thanks listeners for tuning in. Do it all again next week.
Thanks, Jess. Good luck.
Thank you.
Want to make your next race day the best one yet? Well, dialing in your nutrition strategy is one of the most effective ways you can do that. Luckily, our show sponsor, Precision Fuel and Hydration, offers you the chance to do this in the most effective way possible. Book a free consultation with their team to fine-tune your fueling plans. Emphasis here on you, as they offer tailored advice based on your circumstances and the race you're taking on. They're there to help you achieve your goals all year long, and as mentioned, this service is free of charge and a great opportunity to ask them any questions you may have about fueling and hydrating for your race. No question is too daft for them. We've loved Precision for a long while, and this free service is another reason why. Use the link in the show notes and use code IR-SPRING2025 for 15% off your first order and start smashing those goals today.
I